I greet you, and welcome back, everyone, to The Angry Chicken, the podcast about Hearthstone, Heroes of Warcraft. I'm Garrett Weinzierl, and with me, as always, is Willie Dills Gregory and Jocelyn Moffat. Welcome back, guys.
Heyo!
Hello, hello. Hello.
You know, how have we not entered the show for? I don't think we've ever done this for 72 episodes, where all three of us replied with a greetings emote from the game.
I don't think we've actually ever done that.
Yeah,
I don't think we should.
I think we should start.
Just every now and then, just screw with people.
Because we end with the job's done.
Yeah,
but,
so why not well met? I greet you. The pleasure is mine.
I'm gonna start with I will crush you. That's what I'm gonna start.
Intense.
That could be fun, and Dills could just BM us.
Yeah. And then I just keep saying it until finally you just squelch me. Like, shut up, dude.
I just remove you from Skype. Everyone's like,
You're gonna crush me. We got it.
I will crush you. I will crush you. I will. We get it, Dills. We get it. You and your loud orange hat. Calm down.
Now, is it just me who thinks that it's weird that they let you emote as many times as you want in a row in the friendly games? That's weird, right? Why have different rules for emoting in different places? Why? Just why?
Because they enjoy seeing all of the taunting in pro games from tournaments.
Okay.
I think that's the exact reason.
I'm not against it. I just think it's funny.
Yeah. So, anyways, welcome to the show, everyone. It's another week. It's another episode of The Angry Chicken. We got some stuff to talk about. Some more Blackrock Mountain previews. Ben Brode and Eric Dodds yapping away about stuff about Blackrock Mountain. We're going to talk about Amasis Priest deck. But first, we're going to tell Dills he was wrong.
Well,
Everyone's favorite segment.
Yeah. Because I was playing the Roger deck, which was my Rogue Ogre deck.
Okay.
And I didn't play it very many times before, the last show. And so I was under the impression that it could 50-50 the wrong target and then somehow 50-50 back to that target. But that is not the case. So I want to correct that after more games with the Roger deck, which, by the way, won more than it lost on ladder. Of course, it was ranked 15 or something. It has a 50% chance, or 50% chance to hit the wrong target. Then if Mogre's out, right? So if you have an Ogre and Roger, the Ogre, out, the rare case when this actually happens, it then has a 50% chance to then also hit the wrong target again. So it can never hit the original target. So it will always miss the original target. So if you are trying to hit a target, what you want to do is, let's say there's two targets on the board, face and one minion, right? Whichever one I want to hit, it's actually better for me to aim at the other one. It gives me a 75% chance to then hit the one I want to hit. So it's a little weird thing, but it's something I realized after playing with it a few times. Some people tweeted at me about it, so just want to make that correction right up front.
Well, cool. And we appreciate you doing that, Dills. And now when you say a few people, was it just tweet after tweet of people saying the same thing?
No, it was two guys.
It was the Angry Chicken Twitter account got a bunch of people tweeting at us guys, mulligans from golf. And I just got to the point where on one of them I replied, "We know!"
Yeah.
We are so aware that we didn't feel the need to even mention it.
If you listen to the show, we were asking where the mulligan thing came as far as card games. We were not asking where the term mulligan originally came from.
That was the point. There was something on Into the Nexus this week, too. I don't remember what it was, but we got multiple tweets, and then 5 minutes later, we got a second tweet from those multiple tweets of oh, you guys caught it. Okay. I love how many people, tweet in the middle of listening to the show, and then because it happens every now and then, it's one of my favorite things about, Twitter interaction. It's hysterical. So, it's fun. Fun stuff.
Hey, look, they're interacting with us, and that's cool. We encourage that.
I'm not being sarcastic. It is one of my favorite things. It's just I know that next tweet's coming in about 5 minutes when they realize that we corrected ourselves. And there it is. Yes. Yeah. Then I tweet a smiley face at him. Anyways, next week we're gonna have Hearthstone's art director Ben Thompson on. I keep referring to him just as Ben, and everyone's like, "What, Ben Brode?" No, Ben Thompson, a different Ben, equally as awesome. Well, I don't know, Ben Thompson. You haven't been on the show yet, so you got a lot to prove, buddy. You could be not as awesome as
yeah,
Mr.
your
Brode.
laugh
Yeah.
Your laugh needs to live up.
Yeah, it needs to live up to this.
He better have a signature something. Doesn't have to be a laugh, but he just has to have a signature something.
Probably signature amazing art, I would assume.
Does he?
He probably has an actual signature that he can be like, dudes, done.
This is probably something I should ask him, but I'm wondering if either of you guys know. Does he also design specific cards himself, or does he just direct designers? Do you know?
You meaning like the art of the cards?
Yeah. Does he actually draw any? Has he drawn any of the cards?
I am sure
he
is.
The Ben Thompson cards.
I can't imagine that he's not credited for some of those, but that's not a question I know
I'm
the
gonna
answer
look into
off
it. Yeah,
on top of my head. So, yeah. But I know he's an illustrator, so I would assume there is some art that he has
Sure.
done. I'm like frantically going to his website real fast just to see, and hopefully.
This interview next week is basically going to be him and Garrett talking. And me and Josh are just like, yeah.
We'll play a game.
Art.
Yeah. We'll just play a game and let them talk.
You guys have been making this joke, and I think it'll be absolutely fine because, come on, I mean you play the game, you know what it looks like. I'm sure questions are going to come into your head.
Yeah, it would be like, so why did you choose yellow here? I'm just curious.
Damn it, you took my question.
Yes, I can't wait to get that technical and ask about things. So
the only question I really have is, what's up with the King of Beasts? What's going on with that card?
Well, there you go. That's a perfectly good question. Watch that
like
be
somebody's child come into work someday.
Jeez, watch that be his illustration. Watch that.
No, that's definitely his only one he's ever illustrated.
That'd be great. It's not a bad illustration. It's just it's called the King of Beasts, and that lion couldn't look less excited to be a lion.
I think it's fine. I think it just looks so different from the other cards.
He's just chilling, like he's just hanging out.
The style is just so removed from Hearthstone.
Well, there's style. I mean, the style varies a lot between. Look at Kill Command and Leroy Jenkins. That's Penny Arcade art, and that sticks out like a sore thumb compared to the majority of the art. But it works. But anyway,
I feel like with Magic, it's just so varied that it doesn't nothing feels weird because there's just so much difference between all the cards. You know.
Yeah.
But Hearthstone kind of had this somewhat feel of this is what the art style kind of looks like. It looks like WoW, right? And then suddenly it was a card that was like, what does this look? This doesn't look like it's like a cartoon.
Next time we're together, I will have to bring the WoW TCG art book. That
I've seen that.
Yeah.
Hammond gave it to me actually after I was interviewed on his Beyond the Playlist show. It was super nice of him. He's just like, oh, I want it and I haven't opened it. Here you go. But it's awesome to look through because the art is crazy different. With the original TCG, which they borrowed a lot of the art from, I feel bad when we're going to talk about all this next week.
Next week, dude.
Anyway,
come on.
Anyway, the point is they purposely went and contracted a bunch of different illustrators who had different styles because they wanted to see WoW kind of interpreted in multiple different looks. So, anyways, there's that. Fun, cool. Can't wait to have Ben Thompson on next week.
Point. Dills and I can now go research in general.
there you go. There you go. Other things I wanted to mention, Dills, you and I actually both worked on this. Hearthhead's guide system is up.
That is correct.
So you can go to hearthhead.com/guides or just go to Hearthhead. It's up on the navigation bar. But the thing we would specifically like you to take a look at is the archetype guides, some of which Dills and I wrote. And they're really cool because the goal of the archetype guides is to kind of distill a deck down to its essence. Like, here's the 18 core cards, and then here's all the other varying cards that could exist within this archetype. So for those, we get questions from newer players who are just like, what the hell is a handlock, guys? You just say handlock, I don't know. I don't see a warlock's hand. It's not a card. What are you referencing? So this is something where you could go there and you could look it up and it would describe to you what that archetype is and then what works in it. So go check it out.
By the way, fixing this link, the equals 300 is getting a redirect loop. So.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well then.
Fixing it.
It should have been. Oh, it's working for me. It takes me straight to the archetypes page, but
it gives me the loop thing. It's giving some people in chat too. So
okay. So yeah.
There's also a kind of I guess just a redo of my original Arenas drafting guide thing in there as well. So if Arena's your thing, there's a guide in there for that. So check that out. I put the tier list of which classes are the best and stuff, and then just kind of give the basic strategy to drafting. And there'll be more in that section too once I get a little bit more time to to do some more stuff because I want to talk about like playing and specific things like best legendaries in Arena. There's going to be a lot of stuff in there eventually. It's gonna be a super good tool for people.
Yeah, it's cool. Go check it out. And I believe you can write your own archetypes, so it's gonna get even bigger and have more guides than there already is. So it should be really neat. I like it. It was a lot of fun to work on. So go check it out, folks. Now let's get into this week's Hearthstone news.
Good news, everyone!
Just a reminder, you can submit stories and vote on those that have already been submitted over on the TAC subreddit at tacpodcast.reddit.com. But obviously, guys, the big news this week is BlizzCon 2015 has been announced. It is definitely happening, and this is clearly only really good news because now I can plan my honeymoon.
I'm so excited. So excited. I'm pretty sure as soon as I found out about this, I messaged Garrett and I was like, dude, okay, so your wedding, and then on the Wednesday, we're going to fly to LA. And then I'm like, wait a minute, maybe these are plans that he should make with Katie. I just got so excited.
We're hopefully actually going to just go to LA right after the wedding and just spend some few days in LA and then go down to Anaheim for BlizzCon. And yeah. But you should stick around in Florida and go to Harry Potter parks. And
I do need to see Harry Potter World. I am not leaving Florida without getting me a wand.
You damn right, which I've been twice now and have talked myself out of it twice of getting
You're crazy.
A wand, which of course begs the off-topic question, what wand would you buy, Jocelyn?
Oh, I don't even know.
There are many
Don't
options.
even ask me that. I can't off the cuff say that, dude.
All right.
Needs to have some serious thought.
All right. Well, we clearly aren't a true fan. So, BlizzCon is going to be November 6th and 7th this year. Tickets go on sale for $199. Just that $1 shy of $200. Saving some money there. It'll be in 2 waves like it was last year. April 15th is the first wave at 7 p.m. Pacific time, and the second wave will be 10 a.m. Pacific on Saturday, April 18th. Good luck getting those tickets. If you really want to go and you haven't purchased tickets in the past, I highly recommend being on the ticket purchase page about 5 minutes before it goes live and just spamming reload. Just reload that page over and over again until it lets you get a ticket because these things sell out within seconds. So
yeah, it's pretty brutal.
Yeah, good luck, everyone.
I think last year I got mine on the first night, and I think the only reason I got it was because I was just buying one. I think it's people buying multiple tickets in one chunk that kind of get stuck in the queue. So
it actually shouldn't have any bearing whatsoever.
Actually, yeah, didn't they say they changed some things this year with how the ticket purchasing was actually going to happen?
This year specifically? If that's the case, I'm not aware of it.
Yeah, I think there was something in the post about changing how the queue was working. Like if you try to buy 4 last year, if 4 weren't available, you got kicked to the back of the queue. But this year, you'll stay at the top of the queue when 4 become available. So if I go in and try to purchase 1 and then change my mind, and then that bumps the total available to 4, then the first person with 4 will get it. So
okay, gotcha.
Yep.
All right.
Top comment on this post, by the way, is I thought BlizzCon was Friday to Sunday. No. It's never been Friday to Sunday.
Ever.
Always been Friday and Saturday, and Sunday is DizCon. Everybody knows that.
First of all, it should be Friday to Sunday.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were thinking it was going to be more than 2 days just because they've got Overwatch and Heroes now. Because it was 2 days for the longest time with 3 games, and now they have 6?
Yeah, but whatever. It's a big place.
I know, but it's so much to see. That was one thing that I realized last year is going around trying to see everything and do everything. There's just not enough time. I totally missed StarCraft. This
is where I would make the joke. Well, maybe they could have less than 7 WoW panels and space it out for the other games. But actually, last year there were no WoW panels. So
yeah, there was a couple. Actually, I didn't go to. I think I went to one of those. There was just too much. The Hearthstone tournament, and now there's going to be, I'm sure, Heroes of the Storm stuff that I'm going to want to watch. So
I'm going to be
maybe a third day would be cool, but I don't know.
I'm going to be useless this year, guys, because unfortunately last year I found out how awesome the StarCraft stage was. So this year I'm just going to I'm going to pitch a little tent, just hang out in there.
Just hang out.
Oh, dude, I am not missing StarCraft again. I am not.
Oh, there's no way we're missing the final. I can't believe we missed the finals last year.
I know.
It's not happening.
Mad dash, and then everyone's walking the other way. We're just oh.
Oh, what is this? And one guy goes StarCraft just then. I'm like, oh, don't know. No.
They really need to not be holding all the finals at the same time. That's what sucked. Because if you wanted to see Hearthstone, you couldn't see StarCraft at the same time, and that sucked. I mean, I guess, yeah, you could have run over there right after Hearthstone, right? But then you couldn't get a spot.
Yeah. Well, our issue, I think it was right when we were doing the live Angry Chicken was the StarCraft finals. I think that's
right. Yeah, that was right after the Hearththone final.
Yeah, because Dills, you ran to go do something, and then Jocelyn, Katie, and I ran to go see StarCraft, and it had just ended. We were like, oh, damn it. Did we have Kim from Doghouse with us too, I think? I forget.
Yeah, we did. We grabbed Kimmy and went and just missed him.
And we're just all sorts of disappointed. But
I think that was the only disappointment of BlizzCon.
Oh, that was pretty much it. That and the merch line.
Oh, God. I blocked that out of my mind. Although that hoodie is the most comfortable hoodie I've ever worn in my life, so there's that.
I do love my Heroes hoodie, even if I now match Jocelyn when I'm cold.
I've never spent a single second in the merch line at BlizzCon, and never will. I'm just not going to do it. I've seen it, never getting in it.
That's because you send Jocelyn to go buy beer bottle openers for you. So
I didn't send anybody.
I am a fantastic minion.
I spent plenty of time in lines for beers, though. So
that's true. Yeah, we
just gotta pick your battles. That's all.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I do remember waiting a while for Dills to return from the bar.
Yeah,
that took forever. They had one guy, and he was the slowest guy I've ever seen.
It's those bow ties that make him wear, man.
Nerds
slows him down.
Thirsty nerds who were super awkward. Every single one of them got up there and was just like, what do I get? I don't know what to get.
You've had 20 minutes. Get a beer.
Just get a beer. Get out. Thirsty.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm so glad that it lines up with the wedding. That means I can just file it all under the same expense. Like, oh, it's just, it's all one big thing. I don't even need to worry about it. I know I'm going. So I'm stoked. I can't
Maybe
wait.
This year we'll actually bowl.
Ooh.
That was the other thing. We should talk about this off stream. I'm like, should we get a proper venue this year? Because a lot of people showed up last time.
It's not a bad option.
So talk about that off stream. Anyways, next business on the agenda are that 2 more Blackrock Mountain Adventure cards have been previewed. First up being the Axe Flinger, much better than his dirty cousin, the Poo Flinger.
What?
It's a 4-mana.
How do you know they're cousins? And how do you know which one's dirty? He could be very clean.
The one who flings poo is clearly dirtier. Although, he might be flinging it at Axe Flinger, so Axe Flinger might be even dirtier. So
this is cool art right here. I love the art on this guy. So far, all the cards I've seen have really cool art.
Yeah,
I want to see this golden version.
He's got a good, good pose going on. Some nice rim lighting going on the back of his axe there from the door that he's clearly standing next to. It's nice. It's nice. I like the Axe Flinger. Now this is a warrior minion, right?
Yes.
All right. I love that on Hearthhead. This is apparently used in 0.6% of all warrior decks. Even though
they have their deck builder. All the Blackrock cards are available in the deck builder.
I know. Yeah, that just means people are out there trolling, like that's not a deck, sir.
They're trying out builds.
They're what is it? Theory crafting.
Yeah, they're theory crafting. I did this a lot actually with the GVG cards. I built what I thought I would do. So I have. If you look at my decks, I've got like Mech Zoo and stuff like that. So
yeah. Anyways, it's a 4-mana common warrior minion. It has 2 attack, 5 health, and it reads: whenever this minion takes damage, deal 2 damage to the enemy hero. Aggro warrior coming down the pipe.
Yeah, that's pretty much what this is. This is kind of like this is like a I don't know, a knife juggalo that only hits face ever kind of thing. Because you can do a lot of damage to your own minions as a warrior. So I think we're going to see some cool plays with this guy, and you might see warriors do things like, play bouncing blades and stuff like that and try to do this guy and do like 10 damage. It's like a pyroblast if you play these two together and it hits.
This and who did we look at last week? That the 3/3.
The Grim Patron.
The Grim Patron, yeah. I just call him Bar Fighter because he's clearly.
But let's imagine
a bar fight,
there's an empty board, right? And you play this, and then you play bouncing
blades.
That's guaranteed 10 damage to the hero.
To the face.
It's going to hit this over and over and over again, right? It's the only target it can hit. So that's 7 mana, 2 card Pyroblast.
Now, if only Brawl didn't cost 5 mana, so you could Brawl to guaranteed have an almost empty board.
Yeah, but okay. Now, in an aggro deck, there might be a lot of situations where the opponent is so busy clearing your board every turn that you end up with an empty board on your turn because they're just constantly removing your stuff, So I don't know. I think there could be some cool plays with this. I think there's going to be some interesting stuff. This might make Bouncing Blades viable because, like, Bouncing Blades, you can have Grim Patron in there. You can have, all the Berserking cards and stuff like that. And you can do some pretty sweet plays.
Gurubashi Berserker making a comeback, man.
I just played this deck on stream, and I won both my games. It's the Mad About Bombs deck. And this will definitely be in that deck. Yeah.
And I understand where your deck name is coming from and what your deck is going for. But, man, you need more bombs.
Yeah, but those other bombs aren't mad enough. I need only the maddest of bombs in my deck.
Oh, man.
A mad bomber, we got a madder bomber. That's it. That's all we need.
That's great. Axeflinger excites me. I'm trepidatious. I'm not sure this is enough to make Warrior, like aggro Warrior, viable, but
I'm gonna try it. I'm so sick of Control Warrior.
Sure. I don't think it'll be like pure aggro. I think it'll be like kind of combo-ish aggro Warrior, because there's a lot of ways to damage your own stuff, and you can play things like Worgens, and then you could play like, the other thing too is like this is under 3 attack. If they fix Warsong Commander and Grim Patron works with that correctly, and Ben Broda said they are going to. I think it's going to be like kind of a combo-y Warrior, which is what we're going to see. It's not pure aggro like the way it had been built before, which was that kind of no card draw. Every card does damage to the face somehow, and it just runs out of steam like immediately. You could build some really cool stuff where it's all about damaging your own minions to get these really cool effects. And then you can do like Battle Rage and draw a bunch of cards and, always have a full hand and stuff. And so it's going to be... There's a very cool deck that's got this in it for sure.
What's wrong with Warsong Commander?
Currently, it doesn't correctly, because the text on it reads
3 or less.
3 or less. Whenever a minion is summoned that has 3 or less attack, it has charge. However, if you play him and then you play something that summons like a token, the token doesn't get the charge, and that's incorrect because that's not a creature that was played. That's a creature that was summoned, so it should get charge. And Blizzard has said that it should.
Oh, okay. So played from your hand and also summoned from a card that was played from your hand.
Any other way.
So anything that's like a battle cry, basically.
And it doesn't matter how it got to the board, you summoned it, right?
Yeah, anything that hits the board should have charge.
Okay.
Yeah, anything that hits the board that's under 3 attack should get charge, and it's currently not doing it. So, like, let's say you have a Haunted Creeper on board, and you have a Warsong Commander, and then you attack something, and then the Haunted Creeper dies. The 2 1/1s that come out should have charge, but they don't currently.
Noted. Okay.
Yes, and they've acknowledged that this is not working correctly.
Yeah, it's a glitch.
They're going to fix it. And they say they're working on it. I don't know why this is so hard to fix, but it's so hard to fix, apparently. It's like they can't fix it.
Someone from Team 5 is listening. Please let us know why it's so hard to fix.
Maybe we can ask the art director.
Well, it might just be something along the lines of like the language that they've used in the creation of those token minions. Like some of them might be create, some of them might be summon, some of them might be call. And all of that kind of stuff in programming world would be things that you'd have to find and
it's all
catch
linked, and you change one thing, and now all of a sudden every card that creates an extra minion is now broken in some way. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's weird. It's whatever. But it'll like I see that card, Grim Patron, this card. You put in stuff like, Wild Pyromancers and Whirlwind and all the ways you can damage your own stuff. And you're going to do some crazy things with Warrior, and it's going to be cool. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Control Warrior, that's the only Warrior right now.
Yeah, that's it.
And I like Control Warrior. It was fun for a time, but the games just take a really long time. I'd like to get back into the class. I mean, Warrior grew on me. I've tried Rogue, I've tried Priest. I don't really like either one of those. But Warrior, I started off not liking him, but I'm getting back into that one, so...
It's just the games get really weird with Warrior. Just get really weird. Sometimes you're like, well, when did I lose or win this game? I can't even remember.
No, I'm not sure because honestly it was
somewhere around 25 turns ago, but I don't know. That was already turn 30, so who's
4 score and 7 turns ago.
Yeah, my new Mad About Bombs Warrior was super fun to play. I want more Warrior decks like that. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I'm really excited about this next card, Lava Shock. 2-mana Shaman spell coming out. It's a rare rarity, so for your arena players out there, you won't be seeing it as often as Warriors may be seeing Axeflinger. But yeah, it's a 2-mana spell, and it reads: deal 2 damage, unlock your unloaded mana crystals.
You're overloaded. Overloaded.
Or what did I say?
You said unloaded.
Unloaded.
Well, I am going to unload
You're
on you.
You're unloading your overloaded.
I will have you know I'm going to be unloading as thanks to Lava Shock.
You're underloading the overloaded mana crystal.
Yeah.
They should have called this card Underload. Is what they
there you go. See, Undershock or Underload Shock. Or,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm dumb. Yeah, unlock your overloaded mana crystals.
This card is sweet, by the way.
This card is
so good.
super sweet.
Yeah.
So 2 targeted damage, wherever you want it, for 2 mana. All right, that's fine. But the unlocking of Overload is out of this world. And there was also further clarification from Ben Brode on this on Twitter. One person asked, does it clear Overload for the following turn? Or sorry, for next turn, this turn, or both? Ben Brode said both. Which I do want to add that's providing you play the cards in the proper order. Because Ben Brode had this long back and forth with some people where he said, no, just all turns. And everyone's like, wait, what do you mean by all turns? He's like, well, no, not like all turns, but
not like from here on out.
All overload that's currently in effect gets expunged.
Essentially, when you play an overload card, and this, to me, when I read this, it was like immediately obvious, because if you played enough Shaman, when you get an overloaded mana crystal, it's got a little indicator, right? It becomes like this kind of silver locked thing where it's like, okay, that mana crystal, and when it's the turn that's coming up, they're actually below your mana bar, right?
Right. So you could, in essence, have lock symbols over your mana from the previous turn on your current turn
that have now moved into the current turn.
And then you could also play
overload.
And then you could overload more, which would then give you additional locks underneath your mana, plus take away whatever mana it costs to play the card that turn.
And as long as you leave 2 mana available and play Lava Shock, all of those overloaded things from the turn before
gone.
All of them are gone. So you can suddenly open up mana again on that turn, which is really cool.
This is so dope. I love the idea of this card. It's getting me so excited for Shaman again. It's not a damn Murloc. It's not Crackle. Thank you.
It's going to be cool because you can play now you can take Shaman and just say I play Overload Shaman now, right? Mm-hmm. Where every card that I play has Overload on it, and then I play cards that benefit from things overloading and stuff like that. And then I play this to relieve myself of this mana, which essentially this is more powerful than Innervate could be, honestly. I mean, not early game, but in late game, especially, this is like a super Innervate. You could unlock 5, 7, 9 overload mana all at once.
Guys, Earth Elemental's coming back.
Maybe. Is Big Game Hunter still here?
Oh, wait, yeah, I forgot.
No,
there's a really unfun card in existence, so I don't get to play other fun cards.
No. I don't know if Earth Elemental's going to be in that. I think you will see, though, like lava burst and all the, crackle and all. Like, you're going to see, burn overload Shaman. It's going to be, super aggro. And this is going to rely on Lava Shock to allow them to, cast a bunch of burn 2 turns in a row, right? So kind of like what, a red deck wins kind of deck does, where it has very limited mana, right? But it's able to just burn you out anyway. This makes you have that kind of ability, but with a lot of mana. So
right,
all your spells are more powerful than they should be for their mana cost.
It makes them it's like reverse Rogue. Like Rogue plays prep and gets to use that mana this turn, and you play this, and then you don't have to worry about your mana being locked out next turn.
Yeah,
it still enables you to play in a way more cards than you under normal circumstances would be able to play.
It opens up a lot of cool plays on turn 5. So right now, it's tough to play things on turn 5 that have overload, because then you lock out your Fire Elemental on turn 6. So what you can do is you could play your doggies, and then you can Lava Shock all on turn 5. Still have your Fire Elemental on turn 6. There's some cool stuff that's going to happen, and I'm excited to see what the really good deck builders do with this card, because Shaman's in a weird place right now. Mm-hmm. There's some Bloodlust Shamans that are out there right now that are kind of making Shaman's making a comeback with this new Bloodlusty Shaman. But I don't think that's a deck that's going to last. I think that's kind of a deck that takes people by surprise until everyone realizes it's out there, and then they play around it, and then it doesn't work anymore. But I think this opens up some cool new archetypes for Shaman. So
yeah,
cool card.
Really neat card. And that's it for new cards so far. They did say that, well, actually, this is in the interview up ahead, so let's just jump right to that. Both Ben Brode and Eric Dodds gave interviews this week on the subject of Black Rock Mountain. IGN Netherlands and Metabomb are the two websites you can go to see these interviews in full, but there are some highlights. From Ben Brode's interview, he did say that we are going to see all of the Black Rock Mountain cards before the adventure is released.
We saw that for GVG, or not GVG, Nax as well, didn't we?
Nax and GVG, I think we saw everything before it came out.
Did we see everything?
Did we see all of Nax?
I'm sure we saw all of Nax.
We saw all of Nax, yeah, for sure. Because remember they were like releasing like a card a day or whatever, and then there was like one big flood before it actually came out.
Well, yeah,
actually, yeah, and I think they did do that for GVG as well. I think you're right. Yeah,
see them all, but it's gonna be pretty close to when it actually comes out, which we don't know the exact date yet. We know April.
Yeah, so it could be
when in April, who knows? But
it could be April 30th, but
could be
unlikely. It's a Thursday. I don't know why you would release it on Thursday, but who knows? Nonetheless, I'm excited that we're going to see all the cards by then. He also said that the cards in Black Rock Mountain they will not be as random as the GVG expansion, so that's a good or bad thing depending on how you like your cards, I guess.
I like how much the randomness created the fun in Hearthstone. I really think that Goblins vs. Gnomes was a really fun expansion. I know that there were a lot of pros who are not so happy with all of the random in GVG. Just because there's a lot of times where you can lose to that like one random point of damage, and it doesn't feel good. And I mean, there's a lot of random in the original one too. I mean, Juggles from a Knife Juggler can do it. So I think that taking or at least not giving us more random is probably a good thing.
I think yeah. So less random is fine because we have enough of it already.
Yeah.
If we just keep going down that road, then I don't know. The joke right now is people watch Hearthstone tournaments and they tweet out #esports and all this stuff because it's like I'm an esports champion because my Ragnaros hit your face. Stuff like that. So
that Lore Walker show.
Yeah, I think it's good. It's a good idea to not go full RNG all the time with all of our expansions. I think it's great that it's something that can be done because again, like when you play a paper card game, don't have really the options to do as much randomness, right?
No, you don't. But duck shuffling in itself is a random element.
Exactly, and that's always going to be there. Yeah.
And you could have the same discussion about red deck wins in Magic. It's like, well, I'm so glad that your shuffle was perfect, because there was just nothing I could ever do.
You played exactly 3 mana over 3 turns, and then you never drew another mana, and now you just win.
But that's like that. My point is, you could have the same discussion about paper card games. They're just
absolutely
less avenues to have randomness, and with Hearthstone, you can get real creative with it and real fun with it, and I'm totally fine with it. Just give us a good mix, lean a little bit more on randomness for one set, not so much on the next, and I'm totally fine with it.
Mm-hmm. I love the stuff that is like subtle board changes based on RNG. I love that kind of stuff. I'm still like not a fan of things like Ragnaros because like Ragnaros is just like, okay, 8 damage. Where is it going? Wherever it goes is going to completely change everything. It's going to totally dictate the outcome of this game. Where this Ragnaros hit goes.
You're
like a random 2 drop.
You're so robot-y, dude.
We're getting like every other syllable.
I'll restart Skype, I guess.
I guess I think maybe giving it a quick reboot might help.
Okay.
It's like C-3PO having a seizure.
Be back.
So Jocelyn, I'm thoroughly surprised to hear you say that you like random.
Of course I like random. I love fun.
I'm messing with you.
No, I am definitely on the side of just the Hearthstone team in general. I mean, what they said at BlizzCon, I think hit the nail on the head with the whole, it's random, but being able to interact with a random board, it takes a lot of skill. I don't even want to call it an argument. I agree with that point of view. So I think that being able to deal with the state of the board makes you a moderate, good, great, or pro player. But yeah, I'm happy to see as much fun as all those freaking bombs are. I'm happy to see a move away from all of the random.
Yeah, and it hasn't all been bad, and it hasn't all been like either like anti-competitive or just straight up not used. I mean, look at I think spare parts are a really good injection of RNG.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's still I'm still getting used to. If I have a deck that plays spare parts, or I play against, say, someone who drops a Mechanical Yeti and it gives me a spare part, it's still something I'm still coercing my brain, like, no, you need to do this turn first, see what the spare part is, and then react accordingly.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of the shredders, the piloted things have really, really changed how the game is played. And I think it's good that a lot of the cards that they seem to be announcing from the new adventure are things that are going to be viable in decks, and you're going to have to make some serious choices. And I think one of those choices is going to come down to, well, do I want consistency or do I want random? And I think that those are really good choices to make, because sometimes the stuff that pops out of those shredders can completely change the game, you know, for good or bad. So it's just like, well, you know, this could be my win condition, or it could totally screw me over. Do I want something that's more middle of the road, but I know what's going to happen every single time?
Yeah, like Curse You Mana Wraith on my turn, but I don't mind it if it happens on my opponent's turn.
Exactly.
So, anyway, Dills, you back?
Yes.
Tell us more about Ragnaros.
Well, I was just saying the piloted shredders and the sky golems and stuff. The differences between them are much more subtle than 8 damage either going face or 8 damage going to your 8/8 or things like that. That is just a huge swing. Mm-hmm. Whereas, I got a 2/3 instead of a 3/2, or I got a 1/1. These are much smaller swings, and they then complement you reacting. So a better player will react better to them. But a better player doesn't get to react better to Ragnaros hitting him in the face. Like, you just, you can't.
Too bad you can't dodge.
Yeah, it's, it's stuff like, oh, my rag hit your face, so I just win the game because I'm clearly better at this game because my rag hits your face. Like that, that kind of stuff. Those things are too swingy to me. Mm-hmm. And stuff like the shredders, I think, they're not too swingy. They're just the right amount of RNG. Knife Juggalos, not too RNG. It's okay. You really have to kind of play them in a particular way to take advantage of their RNG, and that the big RNG is the crazy stuff to me. So less of that, more of the subtle stuff. We're good.
Ben Brode also said that they chose to add 2 class cards for each class this time around, with the goal that there will be huge shifts in the meta. Looking at Lava Shock, I believe it. Still on the fence about Warrior, but I hope there's a shift, certainly.
I would like to see what they're giving us for Priest, because I want them to be helping the classes that are suffering.
Well, I want to see all the cards, but I'm sure we have to wait a little bit. I mean, we'll see them all eventually.
Yeah, there's a few classes that I'm really excited to see what they give us, because those are the classes that are suffering. I think Priest is one of them. I'm glad to see this Warrior card, because again, it opens up a new style of Warrior, and that's what I want. I want, like, Priest needs a good 2-drop, right? They never have anything to do on turn 2. And it's just annoying.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. Ben Bird also said that there are no short or long-term plans to add more classes to the game right now. So,
no Death Knights. Right.
Sorry, Maz, you can theory craft a Death Knight till you're blue in the face, but or a monk. Well, it was a monk he did, right?
I think we're gonna get him in the order that we got him in WoW, right? So when we get ICC, we get Death Knights, and we get whatever raid they decide to do for Pandaria, we'll get monks. It's fine. It's a ways away.
We'll see. We'll see. Eric Dodd said that initially when deciding on Blackrock Mountain, the team threw a bunch of ideas up on the whiteboard and said that BRM is very different thematically when compared to Naxxramas and Goblins vs. Gnomes, and that it fit really well into the 10th anniversary of World of Warcraft, since the whole thing was themed around Molten Core. I got my Corehound mount. Yeah.
Me too.
Thank you, Ro.
Ro is the man.
He put together that so nightmare raid. Raids,
yeah, I think in the end he did it like 10 times or something like that with all those guild groups. Man is a machine.
Folks, go listen to Realm Maintenance podcast if you aren't already. It's amazing. Mr. Dodds also said that Dr. Boom is not currently on the nerf list. That they only want to nerf cards when it, quote, really negatively impacts the game. So,
well, okay. Hooray! But I think I argue that Dr. Boom kind of negatively impacts the game.
Really?
Yes, I think.
So you seem like you've had a change of heart, because in the weeks past you seemed like, oh no, Dr. Boom is, he's just
Well, he's very good, and I'm fine with the card being good, but to just be objectively better than another card in such a way is a little bit crazy. And also a lot of games come down to who draws Dr. Boom and then who plays Dr. Boom. And that kind of sucks, you know? Because like if you're playing a game and turn 7 comes along and you have the Dr. Boom, you're like, sweet, I got the Dr. Boom. And then when you don't have the Dr. Boom and the other guy plays it, you're like, oh no, now I just lose the game. And I don't think there should be a card that kind of does that. I would like to see a small tweak to it, but it's just pretty bad.
I think they should just make another 7-drop that's as good.
I mean, I understand why they put it in the game, because the argument was there wasn't enough good stuff on turn 7. You know, like Druids had a couple of really good options on turn 7, but as far as like the neutral cards were concerned, there wasn't a great 7-drop really. But the problem is I think this one is just so good that it swings the game really hard in one direction or the other. And it also requires a lot of people to run things like Big Game Hunter. And it kind of sucks to have a single card change the meta so much that you have to run this card or else you just don't have a chance, really, you know? So I don't know. I'd like to see something done with it. It doesn't have to be huge, just a subtle thing.
I think I'm still okay with it because I'm just happy to still see MC Tech here and there. I like having a reason to run that card. And I think that softens me on Dr. Boom just enough to be like, I'm okay with this.
It's like, okay, think about what they added Trogzor and they added Dr. Boom, and one is just so insanely better than the other, right? And they're just two equal cost legendaries, and one is just like, yep, every deck has this one.
I got so much crap for not being excited for Trogzor on this show.
I'm still excited for Trogzor, but you know, it's just like I would like to see a world where I decide which one I want to run, not a world where that decision has already been made for me. You know what I mean? Like that's just kind of where I'm at with it. So I'll live in the world where Dr. Boom is a card exactly the way he is, and I'll be fine, and I'll have fun with the game. But that card is so swingy. Who draws it and who plays it on 7, I guarantee you they win the game more often. And yes, you Big Game Hunter it or whatever, but now you have to run Big Game. I don't know.
Well, I guarantee you in my games when I play Dr. Boom on turn 7, my opponent's mind control tech steals him 100% of the time.
Yeah, well, there's the other thing too, because then you have like this board where one of them is so good if you steal it, right? And the other 3 are like you get a boom bot and okay, I lose. And so it just creates more RNGs. And then the bombs themselves, it does 8 damage to the face or something like that, and then you just win. It's just like, oh my god.
Boom
it's like,
bombs.
I played a 7/7 and a Ragnaros. Cool. I don't know. It's just a little much. I could tone it down. I predicted at some point it will change, but I understand they take the time with this stuff.
I'm trying to remember because I read the article a couple days ago now, but didn't they say that there's nothing on the nerf list right now?
Well,
aren't they in the Jocelyn camp of they want the community to figure things out?
No, they're not. They've never been in that camp. They will always nerf stuff if they feel like it needs to get nerfed.
If they have to, but I thought I'm gonna.
They've said that they don't want to nerf things, but if it's required, they will. And that's what happened with Undertaker.
Yes.
So they're not in your camp, which is a very extreme camp.
I was going to defend
your
Jocelyn.
Your camp is kind of like ISIS. Right?
Oh.
Okay, I missed that, and it's probably for the best.
Oh, he just compared you to terrorist group ISIS.
Oh, thank you.
I thought I should spell out.
I didn't compare you to it. I compared your camp to it.
Oh, I didn't compare you.
I compared your entire way of thinking.
I compared
the I'm just
the principles that you live your life by.
Extremism is extremism, and saying never ever change something is an extremist way to look at it. And to say always change things is an extremist way to look at it too. There's a middle ground, I think, which is where Blizzard stands.
I didn't say never ever nerf. I think
buddy, somebody go back and find the quote.
Most of the time, I would rather see, I guess I just don't see all the problems with the cards the way that you two see all the problems with the cards, and I would rather see people try to play around them or craft new decks.
Don't throw me in Dills' camp. I'm with you on this one. Leave Dr. Boom the hell alone. I like it.
No, I'm not talking about Dr. Boom. I'm talking about nerfs in general right now.
Jerry, you might be okay with Dr. Boom, but I know. Come on, we've talked about this.
Oh yeah, no. Undertaker deserves the hellish grave it's currently in, but. But no. Yeah, I'm just saying.
If a card needs to be nerfed, you should nerf it. If a card doesn't need to be nerfed, don't nerf it. But when a card requires everything to be changed and all decks to run this card to counter that card, then I think you got a problem, and you should,
Jocelyn, what's the quote?
He says, our goal is actually not to nerf cards. We're not always successful there, but we don't currently have any cards on our watch list.
Yes.
What is there a date for this? Just out of curiosity, when this come up?
When was the interview?
Yeah.
4 days ago, I think.
4 days ago. Okay, awesome. Yeah.
But this has always been their stance. This didn't change. Like they said this lots of times.
But I know, but there's been a lot of people saying like Dr. Boom, talking about Azure Drake, talking about Big Game Hunter, like just there's been a lot of people talking about a lot of different cards of what's next up on their list, what are they watching. So I think it's interesting that right now they're not watching anything. So
Azure
apparently
that card is fine. What?
Who the hell wants Azure Drake nerfed?
Look at me, look at Reddit, dude.
What Reddit? I'm looking at you and I'm scowling.
Azure Drake? When did this happen?
I'm looking at you like the kid that just drew on the wall with crayons. Like, why? Do you have
like
to
there's
this?
cards that are powerful, right? And they're fine to be super powerful. Like a card like oil.
Oh, it's because it's a dragon. That's why. Sorry.
Okay. Well, but, they're jumping the gun. Wait until you see all of the cards, because currently, if they're all like Ren Blackhand, we don't need to worry about it, because the card's hot garbage.
But see, like a card like Dr. Boom. Here's the thing: it's super powerful by itself. Just like this card is awesome, and I would say too awesome for its mana cost compared to other things that cost that much mana, right? Like, it's so far and above all the other things that cost that much mana. Then you got a card like Tinker's Sharpsword Oil, which is also super awesome. But only if you have a minion on board and only if you combo it is it super awesome. So cards like that are totally OP, but you also need to pair it with a Blade Flurry and a 2/1 Pirate with Charge to really make it insanely overpowered. So that's fine. It's just a card that's a single card that's just like, bam, this card just like changes the whole game. Magic has a lot of this stuff, the bombs, right?
Right. Well, and I think that's part of the reason I'm defending is because I don't feel like we have enough Stone Cold bombs in Hearthstone. I would rather see if I had it my way, and we're having new cards added, so who knows, I might get my way. I would rather just see more bombs added than take away from the one like undisputed bomb that we have.
I think though the reason why bombs are okay at Magic is because
wait, hang on. Can you guys tell me what you're talking about when you say bombs? Because I'm thinking like
a card that's just like a card that is just so good by itself that it can be in many scenarios your win condition.
Yeah, and when this card hits the board, you win the game.
And there's no setup. It doesn't have to synergize with something else. Like Dills was saying, it's not like Tinker's Sharpsword Oil where you need to have all these other things in place for it to be so good. It's more like Boom, where you just play it. It doesn't matter what's going on.
Like, think about a card like Deathwing, right? Like, Deathwing you could call like a bomb because, like, boom, I kill everything on the board and I have a 12/12. But in Magic, they're harder to play. They're always really difficult to get out. And a lot of times, like, like the Planeswalkers cards, which have these bomb-like effects, oftentimes you have to build the Planeswalker up and get all this, like, extra points on it before you can do this effect that essentially just always wins you the game. Or, like, this giant card costs so much mana and you may not draw the mana to play it. Stuff like that. Whereas in Hearthstone, it's like, you always get a mana, and you'll always have 7 mana on turn 7. And if Dr. Boom's in my hand, it always comes down. And that kind of stuff, it's just too easy to play it. If it was more difficult to play it and have it be the bomb that it is, then I'd be fine with it. But
so you're saying
it works differently.
But you want a scenario where... say you hit turn 7 100% of the time and you draw Dr. Boom 100% of the time, that you couldn't actually play him 100% of the time.
Well, not that you couldn't play him, but that his effect wouldn't just win or lose the game by the fact that you have him in your hand. And currently the way it kind of works is he can do that. And
okay, yeah.
I don't really like that.
Chance to summon 1, 2, or 3 Boombots instead of
there
always
you go.
2.
So something like that. You either get 1 or 2 Boombots or something. Like you get 0, 1, or 2 Boombots. Yeah. Like that kind of thing could be interesting. Or the Boombots did 1 to 2 damage. The 1 to 4 when they both hit for 4. There's just so much going on. Yeah,
it makes me feel.
It's so good. I'm not arguing.
Yeah, no.
Like, yeah, Mimiron's head. That's tough to get, but if you get it, holy crap, it's awesome, right?
True.
It should be hard to play a card that is that good.
It shouldn't be that hard, though, because you don't play Mimiron's head because the card sucks. Like, I want good cards. I want good cards that are awesome and make me feel awesome.
Unless you get it out of a portal.
Right.
Well,
then it's the
best
thing of
when you play Dr. Boom and then you play Mimiron's head. Dr. Boom activates Mimiron's head. Dr. Boom is broken, you guys.
There we have it. Moving on with some of Eric Dodd's other quotes here. He also said that the team has discussed Karazhan as an adventurer and says, quote, he'd be surprised if they didn't do it at all. Hooray! I'm so excited about this. He also said that not all cards in new sets are going to be designed to fix issues in the current meta, but some will be related, which I would assume that is the case. I wouldn't expect all 31 cards to be like, and this card counters oil, and this card counters Dr. Boom, and we named it Dills. And this card, like, I don't expect that to be a thing.
Yeah. And that shouldn't be the way.
That being said,
not
feel free to name
counter.
cards after the three of us.
Board and doing stuff like that.
Yeah. That being said, please name cards after the three of us. And then if you play all three of us and we die, it summons Ultra Mega Chicken. So,
I want Ultra Mega Chicken more than I've ever wanted anything in my life.
Shh, he is legend.
I mean, if they add equipment cards, Dills' primal leggings are in the game.
Oh, yeah, that's true. There's precedent.
I love the idea that you can just like tape some pants onto the bottom of your hero.
Yeah, you're like, I play Dr. Boom, then I equip Dills' primal leggings on him, and suddenly he's stronger. They have equipment in Magic. They could do something like that. And they had equipment in the TCG too, didn't they? I thought you could equip stuff, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I don't remember.
I think we've talked about this before with our conversations about like professions and stuff. Is equipable gear.
It's come up. Dodds also said there's no plans to redesign the Hunter hero power, nor are they talking about it. So stop asking. I added that last part in.
Fine. Honestly, I'm okay with Face Hunter being what it is. It's an aggro deck, and it's the best aggro deck right now. But you can counter that easily. There's plenty of decks that beat the crap out of Face Hunter.
Yeah, and there's you still get your mid-range Hunter, and it's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine. I don't think hero or Hunter hero power should be changed. And also,
it needs to be decks like that in the game, right? Like otherwise, just control runs wild.
Right. And then also he said that there are no current plans to change anything about how new players can get brought up to speed with their collections, but it's something they are talking about. Did Scott Johnson ask this question?
Seems like a Scott question, doesn't it?
I'm glad that they're talking about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, they obviously have to be, and we've heard it mentioned in the past. It's just they've only had one honest-to-God expansion to the game. So
yeah, I don't think we're at this point yet where we need to be so concerned about this, but we will get there, and we're probably going to get there pretty soon. One or two more, and it's going to get overwhelming for the new player. Obviously,
no, I agree. I'm like teasing Scott, but I totally understand. If I take a week off from this game, I feel behind. I can't imagine like having not. I don't know if who has played or has not played since GVG, but imagine you're just now getting in and you missed GVG's launch.
Yeah,
your head would be spinning.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I think though that there's a certain point where. Like since we're not at a point where the new cards replace the old cards, which is how other games kind of function, that's why it feels that way, because you need a mix of old and new cards, right, to really kind of have everything you need, right?
Yeah, and then there's exceptions to the rules. You have things like Druid, which honestly almost use no Goblins versus Gnome cards.
Yeah, or play Face Hunter. Almost know anything about vanilla cards. I mean, you're
still using Wolf Rider, yeah.
But when none of the old cards have been kind of phased out, if you're a new player and those cards were phased out and you could just get the new cards, then that wouldn't feel overwhelming at all, because you could just be like, okay, I just need these cards. But the way it feels now is you feel like I need all the cards, and that's two different types of packs. That's an adventure I got to buy. It's a lot of stuff. So I get why it feels that way, and I trust that they'll come up with a cool solution for it.
I believe in your belief, Dills. I would also like to leave you guys with the sound of 3 damage.
Ready to ride.
Yeah.
It does sound tough, doesn't it?
It does, and then you're like, wait, you have 1 health? Nice.
But he's ready.
Yeah. but he's ready to ride. Yeah. It's almost like being ready for action, only totally better.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to quickly move through IEM because we're already, damn, the show's going long. This, we're sitting here reminiscing about BlizzCon and fighting with Dills about Dr. Boom.
I totally thought that we were going to be short tonight, so I put these like big, huge, long emails in with lots of discussion, and we're not going to get to them.
We'll get there.
I'm joking when I say fighting. I'm like trolling.
Honestly, I have almost nothing to say about Priest, so.
Perfect.
Well, then wonderful. ESL, how do you pronounce this city? Katowice?
Katowice, I think.
Katowice? Yeah.
Katowice or Katowice or something like that.
Something like that.
I heard Nimp say it a lot.
Yeah, we're American and Canadian and don't know what we're saying, so we apologize.
Is that Katowice over there? What city is that? Katowice?
Katowice is what I put on the side of my chicken after I'm done putting on my George Foreman grill. ESL's
I think we need the rusty horn sound effect for whenever a joke totally bombs.
Yeah.
ESL's Hearthstone Legendary Series continued at the IEM event over the weekend. VODs for the entire event are available on YouTube. We'll have links over at amove.tv/TAC for the episode 72 post if you haven't found them otherwise. But you can find them on Liquipedia and all those places. But if you're worried about spoilers, if you're one of those weird people who are weird about spoilers about live tournaments, run away now because second place was taken by Amaz and first place $13,000, 100 World Championship points went to Orange, playing for Team Darkstar. And I have to say, I didn't know that much about Orange. So if you are unfamiliar with Orange, as I was, he was the player who was DDoSed by Lizard Squad during the Pinnacle 2. And he also qualified for this tournament through the European qualifier alongside Random and Endearin. And Endearin also made it to the top 4. So some real good players making it in through the European qualifier.
Yeah, Orange is a big time up and coming player, and somebody a lot of people didn't know about, and is just amazingly good at Hearthstone. He's also got very lucky, but that's part of the deal. Somebody who wins the World Series of Poker and stuff like that, they all get lucky. That's how it works. But he also had no misplays that I could see when I was watching it. So, congratulations.
Yeah, damn well played, sir. Got to see friggin' Amaz play Priest.
That's
what everyone wants.
Played
so
Priest,
good.
which is a bad deck right now, and still got second. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it was really, really nice to see Amaz play Priest, whereas, in the past that would have been like, oh, I'm playing against Amaz, well, I'm just going to ban Priest because that's what he's known for. So it was really, I love this format so much. Love it.
It's so much better than Last Hero Standing.
Yeah.
I'm thoroughly happy. Dills, you liking it so far?
I love it. I think there's a lot of cool strategy, and we shouldn't talk about it this week because I want to test it out. But Firebat posted some stuff to our Hearthstone and Competitive HS, which is another Hearthstone subreddit.
I love that subreddit.
He put this spreadsheet him and Purple Drank made this spreadsheet, right, to decide what classes to play at what was the one that was in London? I can't remember the name of it now, but he recently won that tournament in London, and they put together this spreadsheet where they effectively figured out the best decks against the expected meta, and then because of this format, they can say, as long as I take the 3 decks that I think are best against whatever decks I expect to see, I greatly increase my chances of winning. And then he won. And then he shared the thing that they came up with. So anybody who's interested in tournament play,
that was
check that out.
Gfinity Spring Masters, by the way.
Gfinity, that's the one, yeah. Which it didn't get a lot of traction on Twitch, unfortunately, because there's a lot of really good players in it. But I think the production level was a little bit lower because that was the first time they'd done a big Hearthstone tournament there. But hopefully they'll do more and it'll be better. But it was a really, really cool spreadsheet, and just Firebat was the spreadsheet guy, right, before he won the World Championships. So he shared the thing. So he kind of screwed himself, honestly, by sharing it, because now everyone's going to go oh, well, I could do that too. But he plugged in numbers and came up with the 3 decks he used, and it's a really cool system. So I think the format is very interesting.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I really, really love about just the Hearthstone community in general, and it's good to see people who have made it as far as like Firebat has, sharing with the community. I think that that's one of the things that sets us apart from a lot of other esports, a lot of other games, is that everyone's just like really collaborative and coming together and giving each other tools and stuff. We actually have an email this week that's going to share yet another tool to help people out with laddering up. And it seems like it's very, hey, let's figure out the best way to do this stuff. And I really, really enjoy the community in general.
Yeah, I think it's one of the reasons this game has as large a community as it does. I mean, our show alone has a surprising amount of people that give a crap. And
so many smart people. Like, it's mind-blowing how intelligent a lot of these Hearthstone players are.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I mentioned it. We all did our birthday videos for Hearthstone. And I mentioned it in there. Like, I think the reason there is such a large community around it is it's just the way the game is. It just lends itself to the sense of community and the sense of kind of camaraderie. Everyone wants to. If it's just you and your buddy at lunch and you both play, you're going to be talking about what decks you just played last night with. And if you both play the same like class, you're going to be like, oh, well, how does your deck differ from mine? And there's all these natural conversations that happen. That's why 2 years ago when Dills and I went on Coverville's Coverthon, we did a whole impromptu Angry Chicken with no script. We had no notes, no nothing. We talked for an hour about the game without any prep. You don't need it. Like this,
you don't need it at all.
There's so much to say about this game at all times.
Yeah, I think card games in general work that way.
You weren't on the Coverthon with us, were you?
Yeah, I was.
I thought you.
Yeah, I was the only one on it this year, though.
Yeah,
you guys didn't show up.
We did it 2 years ago, and then Dills did it alone this year.
Did you leave early or something?
No.
Because I could have sworn I remember having some. Maybe just because you were super quiet when we were talking music.
Oh, well, probably.
Oh, it's a music podcast.
Yeah, it is a music
shut
podcast.
Down at some point.
I could have sworn it was just Dills and I.
No, she was on there. I remember.
Oh my god, I feel terrible.
It's all right. Thanks, you're getting older, dude. It's cool. It happens.
Oh my god. Oh my god, I feel
so
bad. Now all of the people that say I'm like the worst person ever to Jocelyn have actual reasons to say that.
So much ammunition.
Oh my god.
They're just gonna capture that one part of the episode.
Oh, I have that MP3 laying around, so I'm totally gonna listen to it after the show tonight. Oh my god.
Oh god.
My brain is exploding.
It's all right, man. Don't worry about it. We'll get past this. We'll move past this.
I forgive you for forgetting I exist.
All right. Oh, come on. You're making this so much worse than it should be.
Jocelyn, you're the one who actually gives them the ammo. Now I see.
I think all of the reviews that piss me off are actually written by Jocelyn.
Damn it, you figured me out. It took you 2 years, but you finally caught on.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right, let's get into this week's strategy before I put my foot harder in my mouth. Oh, thank you, chat room. Why does Garrett hate women? If you're going to insult me, kid vigilante, why don't you pronounce write my name right?
Oh,
at least get the second T in there. All right, strategy talk.
Hit it very hard.
Wanna blow something up? Time to pay.
In this week's strategy segment, we're going to talk about how you get out of sexist comments.
Strategy.
No, we're talking about Amaz's priest deck from ESL this weekend, which Dills, you're informing it. You told us this was going to be a short rundown.
Yeah, so here's the deal. I played 5 games with it. I won 3 of them. I lost 2. It's a good deck. Play it.
It's a good deck. Play it.
No, it's a weird deck, but it highlights a lot of the reasons why Priest is in a bad spot right now, because Amaz is like the Priest guy, right? There's Amaz, there's Zed a lot. Kibler's played a lot of Priest, but his big Priest time was at the kind of the Death Rattle Priest period where that was really good, but now with Undertaker being nerfed, that's really not around anymore. But this is a cool deck, and I think it kind of hits all the things that Priest really needs. I'd say the biggest thing that you'll notice here is that you don't really have any other big kind of finishers besides Dr. Boom. So for a control deck to not have that is a little bit weird, because you usually need some sort of kind of bomby cards at the end to win the game, like Ragnaros or Ysera, something like that. And that's always kind of been how Priest has functioned, is control the board, take your stuff away, drop a big card at the end, and be able to finish you off. This doesn't have that. So it's kind of streamlined as far as Priest goes. But the interesting things I think are the fact that it has no injured Blade Masters, so your only circle synergy is Northshire Clerics and Akanai Soul Priest, really. But the way I won some games, I won one game when Valen's chosen a zombie chow and just he could never kill it. The other guy could never kill it. So there's some win conditions in here that aren't just those big bombs, but I don't know. This is a very slim, trim, lightweight Priest deck that still just only reacts to what you do. And that's why Priest kind of sucks right now. You don't have questions, you just have answers, and sometimes you don't draw the answers and you just have nothing to do, And so Priest feels very weak because of that. But it's an interesting deck, and if you're interested in playing Priest, I think this is probably the route to go right now. It's just, it suffers. And Amaz even said that Priest is suffering a little bit right now. So I hope that whatever they put out with BlackRock will fix that. A 2-drop is what they really need.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Now, I still feel like Priest is one of the decks that when I'm laddering still gives me a hard time. It still feels like a monkey wrench because I see them infrequently enough that I just really never get a good handle against playing against them.
Sure. Yeah. No, it's true, and I think I think that when you draw correctly with Priest, it's kind of impossible to lose when you always end up with the answer to whatever the other guy does. But a lot of times you draw Akanai and you never get circle, or you have circle and you never get it. There's so many games, when I was playing, and I only played 5. I won 3 and I lost 2, so obviously it's decent. But I was playing against the Mech Mage, and the only way I could have won the game ever was if I draw an Akanai circle. He just played too many things by turn 4, and I have nothing to play by turn 4. And the things I do have to play by turn 4 are really weak. I can't play Northshire Cleric on turn 1 and just hope that because then they drop a 2/3 or a 3/2 or something, and I can't kill it. So it's just there's a lot of issues with the early game, but if you get to the late game, you're gonna kind of outlast people, and I was able to do that in several of my games. But it's tough. You're really draw dependent, and a deck like that can only go so far. And I feel like it might be okay as a tournament deck, because if you feel like the meta is very control heavy, you can get away with a deck like this that's going to react well to control. But if you're laddering, you're just going to get run over every now and then. You're just going to get run over by aggro decks.
And the meta is, even think about the tournaments, it's not super control heavy.
It's not, no. Right now, Face Hunter is a top.
No, it's Face Hunter, it's Oil Rogue, it's the fast ramp Druid.
Yeah, and this loses to those decks quite a bit. Any of the fast Druids, the Oil Rogue is a horrible matchup. Amaz said he was it's like 90-10 to Oil Rogue, because you're trying to answer stuff and they never play anything to answer. The minions they do play are like Azure Drakes and stuff, and you can't kill them because they're 4 attack, and you just kind of get run over. So at some point you get bursted down.
I still have not gotten the hang of Oil Rogue. I've been trying to play it. I just feel so weird. It's another tournament playing a minion. This feels weird. What am I doing? I know it's the
top tier deck though.
Yeah, man. I know it's the way the deck's supposed to be played. It just feels so funky after logging so many games with Paladin last season.
Yeah,
it's just like
right
all
now,
minions all the time.
The top decks I think are Oil Rogue, Face Hunter, and Fast Druid. Those 3 decks are just we've seen a downturn in Mech Mage.
I was going to say my Mage decks are just not doing well.
Yeah, the Mech Mage can't win the race against some of those other decks. That's the thing. Even though they're dropping a bunch of stuff, one big Blade Flurry and your board is gone and you have no cards. And you just SOL. So it's an interesting meta right now, and it's starting to feel like it might get stale soon. So I think we're this new expansion couldn't come at a better time, because I am sick of playing against Fast Druid. I'm so sick of it. It's it's turn 9. You have combo and 2 creatures on board. I'm dead from 20. All right.
I finally started playing Druid this week, really for the first time ever, with any type of seriousness. It's because I finally made myself a Cenarius. Never had one.
Yeah. You actually don't need Cenarius for that deck, because a lot of times you win on turn 9 without Cenarius, right? You win with the combo on turn 9.
Yeah. That being said,
but it helps.
If you don't draw your combo, holy crap, is Cenarius good.
It buys you a lot of time to get to that combo. That's for sure.
Yes, it does.
It's such a hard card to deal with. Yeah.
And oh man, like I can see my opponent just frantically looking at it, just like, I know you've got a big game hunter in your hand, and you're just infuriated right now.
Yeah. Yeah, the only real big game hunter target is Dr. Boom in the Druid decks.
Yep.
And so, and Dr. Boom is, if you get anything big game hunter, Dr. Boom is fine because you leave the boom bots behind. So, but yeah, it's an interesting meta right now. I don't think the Priest is a great option. So play this deck with caution, everybody. But if you really like Priest, this is a solid Priest deck, and enjoy. I put it up on Hearthhead, so you guys can find it there. And it wasn't released anywhere I could find. I guess somebody had figured out like 29 of the 30 cards he used. So I just put in the Cabal Shadow Priest because I think that's what else was in there. But it might not be 100% accurate. So be aware.
Yeah, no official deck list yet from ESL that we could find really anywhere.
Yep. So, but this is and it's 97% the same as some other Amaz decks. I don't know. It's close. It's pretty much what he used.
All right, well, check it out. Links in the show notes. Now it's time to get crazy.
Is the whole world gone crazy?
You're in trouble now.
You got it!
You can send your crazy game stories to tacpodcast@gmail.com. Jocelyn, what story do you have for us today?
This one comes to us from Chris. He says, "Greetings, dear angry feathered poultry. Yesterday, I was playing my Holy Paladin deck inspired by my Healing Paladin from WoW. For fun, on the ladder, and I came up against a warrior with a deck full of weapons. I was behind from turn 1 and only still in the game because of a large amount of healing in my deck. After about 12 or 13 turns, the warrior was at 21 health and 2 armor while I was down to 18. The only thing on board was a Silverhand Recruit. I drew Blessing of Kings at the start of my turn and put that straight on my Silverhand Recruit. Looking at my hand, a twinkle started to appear in my eye. I followed up with Nightmare, which is +5/+5, Blessing of Might, which is +3 attack, and Blessed Champion, which doubles the attack for a 2610 Silverhand Recruit, and sent him to the warrior's face for a Silverhand 1-turn kill."
That recruit got promoted.
Did some work.
He did a lot of favors because he skipped quite a few ranks.
Yeah.
In the Silverhand military.
Yeah, that story it really made me laugh because I was just like, oh man, they're just never, ever, ever leave minions on board. Rogue and Paladin, no minions allowed.
Yeah, that old Blessed Champion, Blessing of Might Pally deck probably doesn't win that many games, but when it does,
when it works,
oh man, is it good. Yeah.
That makes me so happy.
There's Day 9 was playing what he was calling Miracle Paladin, which played like Gadgetzan Auctioneer and like all the secrets and stuff like that, and Shades of Naxxramas, and essentially was trying to do this, was trying to Blessing of Might and double things up and do all that, and it was hilarious to watch, but it's a struggle. But man, when it works, it's crazy.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you very much for your story, Chris. And also, Angry Feathered Poultry. I think a non-feathered poultry would be much angrier. I want to say that about his intro. So, yeah. Thanks for that. Let's take some emails.
Hello.
Hello, it's me.
Hello.
Just quickly, do you get my message?
Yep.
Oh.
Hello, brother.
You can send your emails to the same place, tacpodcast@gmail.com. Our first email today comes to us from Jack, who says, "Good afternoon from the United Kingdom. I was hoping for the members of TAC to discuss, quote, teching. Many people use this word, but I'm not entirely sure what it means. I understand that cards like Harrison are tech cards because you were expecting a lot of weapons. But if I put in Sylvanas because she is awesome, or Sen'jin because I want some taunt, is that teching? My question would be, what constitutes teching? What things should I be teching against? And what cards fit that role? As a shout out, I just want to say I love the show. It's a good atmosphere and I don't feel like a noob when I listen to it. Well, you should, Jack, because I can't believe you don't know what teching means. No.
Oh, come on.
I'm joking, and actually, either of you feel free to educate me. I've never thought of teching really as a word. I feel like tech just gets thrown around a lot because it rhymes with deck.
There's a lot of
pretty catch-all.
There's a lot of terms that people use, maybe kind of overuse, and like develop. Every caster says develop all the time, and the correct way to use develop is when you do something, instead of maybe kill a minion, you instead play a creature that you might not have played because you want to build your board. That's like the proper develop, but like people use it all the time. It's like, he's going to develop Dr. Boom. No, he's just playing Dr. Boom because it's turn 7. Like, he's not developing Dr. Boom. Anyway.
You develop the board. You don't develop one minion. You play a minion.
It's okay. Like, anyway, whatever. I could go on and on about this, but teching, like, so when you say like I put in a tech card, it's essentially because you're trying to counter what you think the current meta is. So yeah, Harrison Jones is an absolute example of that. If you feel like Rogue is something that you're losing to a lot, or you feel like Warrior is something you're losing to a lot, Harrison Jones is a tech card. It's a card that you put in that is just there for a specific purpose, which is counter this other strategy that's beating you, right? So you can absolutely put in Ascension Shieldmaster as a tech card because let's say you're just losing to aggro all the time. So I tech in Ascension Shieldmaster to counter that. And that's fine. I don't think Sylvanas is really a tech card though. Sylvanas is just a card that is in a lot of decks. It's kind of when you're just trying to counter a specific thing that's happening to you a lot. That's a tech card.
The Mystic is another example. The one that steals your opponent's secrets. That was really big for a few weeks there when Hunter and Mage were really, really, really popular. It's still in a few.
Yeah, you get rocked by a single like freezing trap would just destroy you sometimes. So a Kezan Mystic is an absolute tech card against that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's another great example. That's pretty much all it is. It's not too complicated.
Harrison was really fun for that hot second that Blingtron mech mages were a thing.
Harrison's still around quite a bit just because the fact that Oil Rogue is so good.
Oh yeah, no, he's still around. He's in my Druid deck right now. I was just saying that like when you had a reason to run Harrison against a mage, there was just like no reason not to include Harrison because it's like, well, I know paladins are running weapons, I know warriors are running weapons. So why not? Because now mages, now it's cats and dogs are living together and mages are running weapons. So that was super fun.
I think there's other things too. Like Black Knight is a perfect anything that kind of just like outright kills something and is kind of swingy. Those are often like tech cards. So if the taunty ramp druid is a big deal and they're playing Ancients of War, tech in Black Knight, things like that. So it's all that really means is I am attempting to counter a specific thing that's beating me. I put in this card and it improves my matchup. So the priest deck could probably really go with a Harrison Jones because it really loses to Oil Rogue, right? And that's a card that would help that matchup quite a bit. That would be your tech card in this deck. Well, that's a great question, and we're getting a lot of people. Like there was some posts in the TAC subreddit about how people enjoyed that segment last week. So we'll go back to that more often and try.
Yes, and I figured out how to sticky a post in Reddit. So now the terms are stickied at the top of the TAC subreddit. So if you guys have more things that you want us to cover, just throw it in the comments on that post, and then I'll make a list for the next time we do it.
Sweet. Yeah.
Awesome.
We're here for you guys. We're here for you.
That was a lot of fun to do, and actually it leaked over into the Nexus. We did beginner MOBA terms.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That game really needs that too, because
it absolutely does.
Somebody is typing furiously what everyone should do, and they're using terms like, grab viz. You're like, what is viz? What is this viz you speak of? That means grab the tower. That gives you sight.
I can't say I have ever seen anyone type that.
Really?
Yeah.
I've seen it like 3 or 4 times now.
Really?
Like,
wow.
It took me a while. I
strange.
Grubby was the one where I finally saw him do it, and I was like. And he was like saying, he's like, yeah, we need vision in this game. And I was like, oh, that's what that always meant. Okay.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's funny.
Ding! Light bulb.
Short for vision.
It's probably because I play with a bunch of StarCraft 2 guys, so we all call them towers.
Yeah.
That's what they're called in SC2.
I also don't like solo queue that much, but I had done it a few times, and that's the first time I saw it. So all that stuff was just totally new to me. People typing, I was like, what are they doing? Why are they typing stuff?
Well, thanks, Dills. Now I'm going to have to do a new episode next week because we didn't do Viz on last week's show.
Talk about Viz. Yeah. Big stuff, man. Viz is so important, you guys.
Dills, what's the next email?
Oh, this is a good one. This is Mr. Mathbot. I was excited about this one, but I still haven't responded. I did upvote this, guys.
I'm never excited about anything that has math in the title, but go ahead.
Oh, no, dude. You'll be excited about this.
Yeah. So, Mr. Mathbot, greetings, peaked poulet?
Poulet is French.
Okay.
French for chicken.
I said it right? Poulet?
Yes,
All right. That's the first time we've heard that one. All right, that's a good one. Love the show and just wanted to pay forward a few tools I made using some of the information and contributions of the rest of the Hearthstone community. I posted them to the TAC subreddit at, blah, blah, blah. It's like the top post, right? Tools for analyzing and beating the meta. I'd love to get some feedback and some participation. We could make a resource for everybody. The first part is a tracker deck picker. You keep track of the decks you've been facing, and it tracks your rank and, most importantly, tells you which meta deck would be the most effective at facing the collection of decks you're up against, based on the Tempo Storm matchup data. The second part does the same thing, but for a group of people. Users submit their data, then the results page tells what decks will be most effective at facing the ladder as a whole. I'm going to try to build some functionality into it in the future so you can select a range of ranks and only look at decks from the ranks near you, since the meta tends to shift as you move up the ladder. I think I'm finally going to make the push for Legend this month, and I hope this is a help to anybody else who wants to try. Cluck on! So, in layman's terms, this is a really cool spreadsheet that Mr. Mathbot made, where you put in your results and the decks you're facing against and the deck you're using, and it spits out what decks are going to be best to play at the current rank you're at eventually. And it's a really, really cool thing, and he clearly knows what he's doing with this spreadsheet stuff. So
that is awesome, and thank you so much for sending this in.
Yeah, and it was really cool when you read the post he put, and he was like, I'm going to share this on competitive Hearthstone and our Hearthstone, but I want to share it with Angry Chicken people first. So it's awesome that there's people out there doing this stuff, and they want to give it to this community first. It's awesome. Yeah, it's crazy. This guy is super smart, obviously, and I think you guys should all get involved and help him make this big public kind of meta test spreadsheet. It's cool. So go check out the TAC subreddit. Tools for Analyzing and Beating the Meta by Mr. Mathbot. Awesome stuff, man. Thank you so much.
TACpodcast.reddit.com.
That's the one.
Dope. Jocelyn?
Yes.
Next email?
Okay.
As if you didn't know why I said
Oh my
name.
God, this is a novel.
I know. This is a really, really long email, and we've had it for a few weeks, and I really wanted to share it because it gave me all the warm and fuzzy feels. So this one comes to us.
I'm going to mute my mic and sit back in my comfy chair.
All right. This one comes to us from K. Nelgren. So thank you very much for sending in the pronunciation of your name, because never would have gotten it otherwise. A warm hello to the fine cluckle men and fair cluckette who live in my ears. First off, thank you so much for everything you do. Your show is the bright spot in my otherwise dull desk day job. A few episodes back, a listener had written to TAC to share how they experienced extreme anxiety when thinking about playing Hearthstone against real people. I know exactly how they feel and wanted to share my recent Hearthstone session. I'm a very shy and anxious person. I play kitchen table Magic with friends, but was always far too nervous to play at local stores or tournaments. My Hearthstone playtime was purely hitting rank 20 for my card back, usually while cradling some Pepto on the very last night of the month. Tonight I resolved to change that, purely because of recent shows you put together for your audience. Jocelyn's recent run to Legend was fantastic. It was something to smile about with each update on the show and via Twitter, even if it made us worry for her health. No matter what rank Joss ended up at, the experience was positive and fun with the outpouring of support from the community. Dills gave me inspiration when he pasted the ladder system. Even though I partly feel that Blizzard can do no wrong, I do agree that things could be changed to make it more fun and less grindy. But he also suggested not to worry about your rank and ladder, just find decks that are fun to play and have fun. Garrett gave me the base I needed to get this thing started. Paladin is my class, and there was his Righteous Aggression deck on Hearthhead. Different from all the other aggro and the See You in Fatigue decks that, while effective, would be decks I'd pick for tournaments and not for fun. This deck looked like fun. Tonight, I took that foundation from Garrett into ranked and got my card back like usual. I started at rank 23. I hit rank 20, and the usual feel of, I'm rank 20, time to avoid people again, came to me. But I also felt something else. I remembered Jocelyn's commitment, and I reflected on the mantra of Dills. I shook my head and said, screw it, I'm going to keep going and have some fun. Let's do this. I just hit rank 12, which is the best ever for me before stopping for the night. Despite my anxiety, all in all, it was a blast. Yes, it wasn't easy at first, but playing a fun deck and without worrying about ranks definitely helped get over that initial hurdle. Yes, I made mistakes. Yes, I didn't accept friend requests after games. And yes, I had so much fun, I'm now exhausted 7 hours later. But I hope others like me may be inspired by your recent advice and find having fun easier to do than grinding ranks. Thanks again, you beautiful, cantankerous cluckheads. I loved that email so much.
I see why you added this. This is like a perfect TAC storm where they mention how all three of us in some way improve their game, which is incredibly touching. And
I know, all the feels, right?
What a selfish email to include in the show, because this is just the three of us going, oh, this is awesome, and everyone else going, oh, look at them talking about how awesome this makes them feel.
Well,
you know what?
It's good that somebody was able to change the way they attacked the ladder and the game was more fun, because it is like, yeah, I got frustrated on the ladder because the game felt like it was like I just have to try to win all the time, right? And ever since, I've just been like, screw it, hashtag Dills to whatevs. Like, I'm having so much damn fun playing Hearthstone these days.
Yeah.
And this is inspiring that, we could help you somehow have more fun playing the game. That's awesome. So,
and it's really, really interesting, because for a long, long time, I was in the total fun camp. Like I just wanted to play the game for fun, and I was screwing around with all kinds of crazy eye for an eye stuff. And you were very much like, ladder. And we're both finding fun in like almost like swapping roles. Like now you're like, oh my God, fun decks, and I have mad bombers everywhere, and this is crazy. And I'm like, oh my God, dudes, have you seen the competitive Hearthstone Reddit? And have you read all this stuff about the meta? And like I'm getting way into the competitive side of Hearthstone, and I'm loving it. And then you're getting into the way fun side of Hearthstone, and you're loving it. And there's just so much to this game that I think really what everyone kind of needs is just a switch every once in a while. Like don't always go crazy hardcore ladder, don't always go crazy hardcore fun, just switch it up all the time, because I was getting bored with not actually getting anywhere on ladder. So
well, just do whatever's fun. That's the thing. And we can say, oh, we helped, but this person took the initiative, and they went out there and made the game fun for themselves. And that's what everyone should just do. It's just whatever you think is fun. The other thing isn't necessarily wrong, but it's wrong for you. Just do the thing you like. People who just play Arena, if they enjoy Arena, just play Arena. It's fun.
I feel like I've totally completely forgotten about Arena in the last 4 months or so. Like ever since GVG came out, I'm just like ladder. I'm not paying any attention whatsoever to Arena, and I feel really bad.
I'm right there.
Remember the last time I was in there?
I'm right there with you. A very little drive to Arena for probably the last, since really GVG. Like when they did the Goblins vs. Gnomes launch Arena surprise, hey, it's an Arena.
Yeah, I think that was the last time.
That was the last time I was really excited about Arena. And interesting they did that for Nax, although it's so few cards that I don't really think that would work as well. The chances of getting Nax, or not Nax, sorry, Blackrock Mountain cards would be super low. We knew what you meant.
I still play the hell out of Arena. I love Arena. It's just so interesting every single time, and just the challenge of trying to get a good deck and win against other good decks. I don't know. I would like to see some changes so that mages aren't just every friggin' where, because sometimes you play 8 mages in a row and it sucks. But it's still super fun.
Yeah, it's like right now, just like, well, I'd like to see some change. That change is a long time coming. Why is it still so mage heavy?
It's because, and my Arena guide talked about it. One class being really good at Arena or worse at Arena. The two main factors are what does their hero power do, and how good are their common cards. And Mage has a really good hero power and really good common cards, man. Just so good. Fireball? Seriously? It's like 6 damage for 4 mana. Flame Strike? It's just, stuff is just OP. And they're all common, so you can get 4 of them, you know?
Yep.
And that's where they need, like, don't nerf Fireball. Don't nerf Flame Strike. Just maybe make one of them a rare card, so you don't have to go against so many of them.
Different rarity. Assign rarity to basic cards somehow.
Yeah.
That's all it takes. Or I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of space for Hearthstone's limited format to become much better. There's another way to do limited, which could be really cool. And hopefully we'll see more ways to do it.
Oh, I want.
At some point.
Yeah. Oh.
Again, just open a bunch of packs and try to make a deck out
Could
of
do
it.
a whole episode.
It's so fun.
We could do. I could probably do whole multiple episodes about that. That's part of the reason I don't play as much Arena. Because really, there's only 2 card games I play: Hearthstone and Magic. And Magic I play Limited, and Hearthstone I play Constructed. Mm-hmm. Partially, it's because in Magic, Constructed is expensive as hell and pretty walled off to me. And then in Hearthstone, I find Magic's Limited version so far superior to Hearthstone's that I would just A, Constructed in Hearthstone's way cheaper, and B, I prefer it to its limited version, which is Arena. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is such a rabbit hole I could dive down. I think the biggest thing for me and Dills, I don't know, maybe get your opinion. Jocelyn, I'm not purposely excluding you, but I don't think you really play a lot of limited Magic.
It's okay. You don't have to tiptoe around me, dude.
But it's the, pick 30 and play those 30 cards. Like, why can't I pick 40 and then trim it down to 30 and then go?
Sure. Yeah, I think there's a lot to that where there's the drafting phase and then there's a deck building phase to what Magic does, right?
Right.
So you can make some picks that might just be flyers and hope that they work out when you get other cards that work with them, and you don't have that option in Hearthstone. It's like every card needs to be a good card.
I would be so much more interested in Arena if I could swap some cards out in the middle of a run.
Sure. Yeah. It'd be very cool. I also think there's something to the passing of the packs and knowing what other people might have that makes things very interesting as well.
Yeah, that's a whole other can of worms, though, because then you're talking about what would need to be some type of tournament scenario or tournament system that's in-game.
But you could, sign up for a draft, right, in Hearthstone, and there would be 8 other people in there, and then you get your set of cards, and you pick one, and then it moves around, and you go, okay, so I know what I just moved left. That could be interesting. That could work. Obviously, you'd have to pick your classes, but I don't know. There's some weird dynamics about it that may make it a little trickier. But right now, just there's 2 ways to play. Right? There's Arena and there's Constructed, and that's it. And I'm hoping for much more than that soon.
Yeah. There's adventures too.
Okay. yeah, I did those, and now I'm done.
Yeah, I think that the replay value of those is very low, and it's something we've talked about on the show before. And we know from that. God, it seems like forever ago now. The what is the word I am looking for? The questionnaire they sent around way before Goblins versus Gnomes. One of the things, would you be interested in the following things? And one of those things was a tournament system built into the game that you would pay for tournaments.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I
give me all of that.
I broke off the mouse clicker clicking that checkbox. It just shot off, pinged off, and hit me in the eye.
I just want, lots and lots of cool ways to play the game. So I went last night there's this Sunday casual Magic meetup, right? And I had never been. I've been wanting to go for a while. The first game I played was a 4-way just battle royale type thing we did, where one guy was even playing a commander deck and the rest of us were playing 60-card standard decks, but he just didn't have the ability to recast his commander, right? So anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about, I'm sorry, but it's a way to play Magic. But we were even within the format we were playing, we were using different formats, and it totally worked. We played this 4-man game, and it was fun as hell. And one guy was playing this weird deck where every card he played asked everybody to vote. It was like Will of the Council or whatever. It was just all insane, crazy stuff, and it was super fun. Then we played a 5-man game afterwards where these 2 guys were against me and this guy, and us were against the 2 guys to our left, and it was everybody was crisscrossing who you were trying to kill. And the fact that you could just do all of this stuff with the game was just really, really cool and weird and crazy. And I didn't understand what the hell was happening, but I had a blast. And I want more stuff like that in Hearthstone. And I know it can be done. So I'm just looking forward to when that actually goes down.
Yeah. That being said, feel free, Hearthstone team, to start with something a little simpler than that guy fights that dude over to that guy diagonal, make an L.
It's a very specific format called that guy fights that dude, fights this dude, fights that dude. Yeah. They had a name for it. I don't know. I just was.
We went from I would like to draw to draft 10 more cards than I need to the most niche and extreme scenario of a card game format.
Yeah. But like you could just do whatever in Magic, because obviously you can just make up whatever you want, right? Because it's just have the cards. There's no whatever. There's no game to log into, and it has to work the way it works, right? But I think you still can do that in Hearthstone. You just have to build it in. So that's, we have to wait for that to actually be a thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or we have to print our own cards.
And I think that's true. I think part of it too is like a lot of what we're wishing for is like new mechanics to be added to the game. But I think some of this stems from it's almost like we're wishing for the card to have, or for the game to have, more history than it already has. It's just like, well, because if you imagine if we could just snap our fingers and now Hearthstone's 5 years old, what that would entail. There would obviously be so many cards that they probably would have had to introduce new formats.
Yeah, obviously we understand that the game we just had its 1 year birthday, right? So
yeah,
Magic's had 20 years to figure this stuff.
All right, seriously, Blizzard.
Still coming.
Seriously, Blizzard. Game's been out for 365 days. Why aren't there 7 new modes?
Yeah. But I don't know, when you do that, anybody who doesn't play Magic, I'm sorry, none of this makes sense. I didn't play Magic, I just got into it, so none of this made sense to me when I was doing it last night. But it was insanely fun to play weird ways to play the game, and my deck was horribly outgunned by everybody else's deck. One guy at some point swung at me with like a 26-26 thing that was hexproof and all this crazy, and that's fine, because we were all just laughing a lot and having a good time. And I want more stuff like that in Hearthstone. There's a lot of ways to laugh a lot, obviously. But I'm just looking forward to when that actually is possible and happens. Absolutely. And I know Blizzard loves the Magic. They talk about it, how that's kind of where this all kind of got inspired, was them sitting on the floor playing Magic, right? The Blizzard offices and stuff. So I know that they wanted to.
That amazing picture of like all those guys in their jean shorts back in the 90s that they posted when Hearthstone was
Three
announced.
of them had mullets, I think. Yeah.
They look like Eugene from The Walking Dead.
Oh, God.
Who's finally being heroic.
Oh, last night's episode was great. It was so good.
But why I was so sad? All right.
Yeah.
We'll get into it. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Walking Dead's good again.
Yeah. Only 2 more episodes.
Oh, I know. It sounds like they're gonna feels like they're gonna go out strong though. I'm down for it. So, thanks for your emails, everyone. By the way, again, you can send your emails to tacpodcast@gmail.com. Knell Gren, just getting us right in the nerd feels. Thank you so much. That is going to do it for this week's episode. As always, thank you so much to the patrons over at patreon.com/TAC. All, as I wait for it to load, 418 of you. Holy.
Wow.
All right, we need 2 more, you guys. We need 2 more for that hype.
Really? We're gonna go there? That's the joke we're electing to make on this episode.
YOLO Swag 420, man. Who's going to be the YOLO Swag 420 patron? That's all I want to
2 people in chat room right now are like viciously fighting one another to be that person now. So thank you so much. If you're not a patron and you're interested, head over to patreon.com/TAC. You will get access to the TAC Skype account for our patron call-in episodes, which we will be recording the next one next Tuesday, the 24th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You'll also get the after show video where Jocelyn, myself, and Dills, if he doesn't have a baseball show, stick around. We take Q&A, or last week if we just ranted about a NoFX musical and other cool things. And then Jocelyn was like, oh, music talk.
Yeah, and then I just hang with the chat room.
Garrett forgot I existed again. They're talking music. I'm excluding myself from this debacle. So, This week, we wanted to thank the following patrons. Thank you very much to Wilson, Taylor B., David G., Daniel L., and Adam A. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Also, if you're leaving us reviews in the iTunes stores, thank you so much. If you enjoyed the show and you listen via iTunes, drop us a 5-star review. It helps the show out a lot. This week, we'd like to thank Sin513, who said, no wallop text needed, just subscribe and enjoy. So thank you. Thank you so much. The Angry Chicken is a production of amove.tv and frogpants.com. All of our past live shows and other videos can be found on youtube.com/starcastshow. Our t-shirt is over at slashloot.com. And follow us on Twitter at TAC Podcast. We record live every Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/amovetv or over on alphageekradio.com. And you can check out Brian Griffith, the musician who made our wonderful intro song, over at briangriffithmusic.com. Dills, where can folks find you in your delightfully, amazingly comfy-looking chair?
Oh, my God, this chair is so comfy. Thank you to everybody who went crazy all of a sudden one night and helped me reach the chair goal in my stream. Check out the stream. I'm streaming a lot more. Twitch.tv/WillieDillsSF. Got the schedule going. I missed Thursday because it was my mom's birthday, but it's only going to take things like that for me to miss my days. So the schedule is Monday before the show, Thursday after work, so about 5:30ish or so I get on. I go until about raid time, which is I think 8 o'clock. And then on the weekends, I just kind of free for all. And I'm going to start streaming some old N64 and NES games pretty soon. So tweet at me which ones you think I should play. There's a lot that I did play, obviously. Like, Mario 64 was one of my favorite games of all time. Obviously, 007. I'm going to stream some of those. But
oh, man, 007.
Somebody said Superman 64, and I never played that.
It's GoldenEye, sir.
It's GoldenEye.
007. There's multiple 007 games for the N64. GoldenEye is the one.
It's GoldenEye, we know that, but we all called it 007. We just called it 007 back then.
What about Perfect Dark? Oh, you have to play Perfect Dark,
Perfect Dark is
Perfect
amazing.
Dark's good, yeah.
That was...
Probably play some Turok, one of the only other shooters I played back in the day.
I hated Turok
really
so
terrible,
much. Oh, it was so bad.
It was pretty bad. I remember I was so excited for that game because like dinosaurs.
I've got a suggestion. I'm not going to tweet it at you. I'll just say it to you.
Sure.
Rogue Squadron. Acceptable.
Rogue Squadron. That's the Star Wars game, right?
Gotta play Rogue Squadron, man.
All right, I'm in. I can play some Star Fox too while we're at it.
Yeah. Man, I remember...
I vote Ocarina of Time.
Okay.
That's a long...
It's Zelda on.
I don't know if I don't know if I can get through all of that, but...
And actually, Majora's Mask is better, so...
Yeah, I know Majora's Mask is better. I agree with you there. No one ever agrees with me. I can't... It's one of the few things that you and I agree on.
It is the best Zelda game.
It is.
How about I just play Legend of Zelda? Because that was the game.
I couldn't read yet when I got that game, so I hated it.
Really?
I had an NES before I could read, man.
Okay. But you still knew, you were shooting swords and stuff. And
dude, I wanted to be Mario jumping on top of things. Being this weird little, cube dude walking around in cube world just for, idiot 3-year-old Garrett just wasn't cutting it. Then I grew up and, I got slightly older in my young years, got Ocarina of Time, and I was like, man, I was an idiot. Zelda is the greatest game of all time.
Yeah, Zelda's amazing, yeah. But, that game I played... at the time, it was playing Super Mario Brothers 2 and 3, I think, were the games I was playing, but that game. And that was pretty much it. You know what I want to play, too? Some Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, man. Oh, my God, I missed that game.
I was so bad at that game.
Oh, Banjo-Kazooie. All right, Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a really good one.
So, yeah, we're going to do it all. We're going to go for it. There's going to be some games I've never played, and you guys are going to watch me noob it up and try to figure out how to do it. And I will say this, the emulator doesn't work as well as the original system did, because it's sometimes the graphics are crappy, sometimes there's weird bugs, but whatever, it's fine. It's just for funsies.
I still have a functional N64 in my living room right now.
Yeah? I still have a Dreamcast, but I think that's the only old school system I have.
Those controllers hold up way better than the N64 ones, I'll tell you that right now.
I gotta say, Dreamcast was awesome. I don't know if you guys had it, but you could also totally pirate games back then. They didn't put any protection.
Yeah, no, my buddy, he used to go to Blockbuster. Kids, there's this place you used to actually have to go into a store and rent a game from a person. And he used to go to Blockbuster and he used to just rent whatever Dreamcast game he wanted and then just
copy it.
Yep.
Yeah, just copy the disc and now I own it. Yeah,
it
was awesome.
There was a time where there was a physical portion to piracy.
Yeah, you literally had to have a Blockbuster card to pirate games.
And I believe if you go down to certain streets in New York City, you can still find physical pirated DVDs. But yeah, that's about it. So much nostalgia. It's just oozing from the show.
I know.
Right
I'm excited to do it. So I'm excited to do it on stream too, so I can share it with you guys. So yeah, check that out. Who cares about all the other stuff? Just check out the stream.
Awesome.
Jocelyn, I do other things too, but whatever.
Oh, do other things on the stream. What do you do? Do tell.
Not on the stream. In life.
Jocelyn, where can folks find you?
They can find me right here on A-Move TV every Friday night for the Gamers In. We do that at 8:30 Eastern. We also stream every Thursday night. I do that over on my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/GISgamer, which is also my Twitter handle. So if you want to know when I'm doing what, follow me over on Twitter.
Do that because it is
so hot.
It is delightful.
Oh, God. I'm going to need to come over and delete that off your computer.
Not happening.
Chat room's been asking for it all night.
It's on my Dropbox. It's on the iMac. It's on Katie's computer.
It's out there.
It's everywhere.
Now. Sorry.
Oh, man.
There are people waiting in line for their Frappuccino right now. Their text tone's going off, and it says exactly that.
So hot.
Yeah. Everybody make that your ringtone. That's That's your homework for next week.
Dude, we even just played it in a nice blank area so you can easily clip it out. I don't even need to send it to you. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm apparently torturing Jocelyn, just giving her a terrible time. At Garrett Art. You can find my graphic design portfolio over at nomoonart.com. I did a new episode of Overwatchers with Mr. Patrick Beja. Everyone can go check that out. I'm always doing Into the Nexus with Kyle. And a reminder, go grab your Onoyotron overlay over at tinyurl.com/Onoy-overlay. Give it away for free. Pay what you want, including nothing. So go grab it. It's fun. I want to see people streaming with it. And if you do stream with it, send me a screenshot. I want to see it. So thanks. Don't forget to check out our sponsors, DogHouseSystems.com. The code to use is TAC, and it will get you a free 120 gigabyte solid-state drive added onto your already amazing Doghouse Systems gaming PC. And it'll also directly support the Angry Chicken in the process. So we thank them for their support. We thank you for listening. We will see you all next week for episode 73 of the Angry Chicken. But until then, job's done.
Job's done.
Job's done.
Yes!